Good afternoon. I'm Frank Ski.
Good afternoon. I'm Nina Brown.
And welcome to the 2021 NABOB Power of Urban Radio Awards. By day, we host the Frank Ski Show with Nina Brown from 6 to 10 a.m. on WALR in Atlanta.
You can also hear us in the afternoon from 3 to 7 on WHUR 96.3 here in the DMV.
Today we have the privilege to serve as your 2021 NABOB and Power of Urban Radio Awards host. We are honored to have the opportunity to help the National Association of Black-Owned Broadcasters celebrate 45 years of broadcasting advocacy and community impact.
Whether you're live with us at the MGM Resort just outside of DC or you're joining us virtually via the live stream, get comfortable. We have a great show lined up. Today we're going to recognize a few trailblazers who have been instrumental in helping to further NABOB's reach and impact. We're also going to take a moment to recognize a few NABOB member stations who are celebrating historical milestones of achievement. And before we recognize the remarkable work of our trailblazing honorees, NABOB would like to take a moment and say thank you to our valued members, partners, sponsors, communities, and our radio, television, and digital audiences. Together, we have achieved 45 years of broadcasting advocacy and community impact. We can't do it without your support and dedication.
Nina and I have worked in the broadcast media industry for many years. We've traveled and lived in multiple markets. Those experiences have taught us the importance of live and local broadcasting. You see, every community has a different need, and every community needs the opportunity to be heard.
Broadcast radio and television are often the first source of information audiences seek when news breaks. The pinpointed and targeted messaging helps to educate and inform communities, specifically communities of color. Radio and television motivated voters to go to the polls in 2020, and with help from on-air personalities, our communities are learning how to protect themselves from COVID-19.
But what happens if our communities lose these valuable resources and these culturally relevant messages aren't around to keep us informed? What happens if we don't have a seat at the table? Before we begin the presentation of the awards, let's take a look back at a few of the ongoing issues that NABOB has fought for since 1976. NABOB President James Winston advocates before Congress and the FCC on behalf of NABOB members and communities our members serve to create equity within the broadcasting industry. For over 30 years, President Winston has served as NABOB's general counsel. He is also our seat at the table. He continues to fight against deregulation, consolidation, and the FCC's relaxed ownership rules. President Winston is a strong supporter of the reinstatement of the tax certificate, which was a catalyst that helped create the industry's largest concentration of black-owned broadcasters in history. With Jim's support, the NABOB Foundation, in partnership with the Media Sales Institute, is the nation's leading talent development program for sales and operations professionals of diverse backgrounds. It has been addressing the challenge of diversity and inclusion within our media for over 20 years. Let's take a look back and remember that Jim's fight is our fight.
There is another significant factor that causes minority owners to be the principal hirers of minority general managers. The vestiges of discrimination, not overt racism, but the institutional form of racism that is reflected in promoting within the Old Boy Network.
Jim, let's just start with you. I mean, I think you have been obviously a pioneer and an integral part and leader in this whole space. So why is small local community radio in trouble? What is the current state of play?
As is generally the case when I get to sit down with representatives of NAB, we usually disagree over the ownership rules. And I think we continue to view the consolidation of the industry over the course of the last decade since the enactment of the Telecommunications Act of 1996 as a source of the many problems that minority broadcasters have faced and why we have seen our numbers diminish over that period of time. Since 1996, the number of African American owned companies owning broadcast stations has dropped by about 35%. and that's because of consolidation and squeezing people out of the industry. So I don't think a conversation that begins with further relaxation of the media ownership rules is one that NABOB would ever support. The problem, however, we've seen with respect to access to capital is that in recent years, capital has not been accessible for new entrants, because if you come into an investment house and say, I'm looking to purchase a standalone radio station in X market, the first thing they do is look at the competitive market and say, well, you're going up against X company that has 8 stations in the market, you're going up against Y station that has 5 stations in the market, you're going up against Z station, company that has 4 stations in the market. We don't think you can be financially viable with one standalone station, and so what happens is capital is denied to that new entrant. So the ownership rules are very much involved in the access to capital issue, and they can't really be separated out.
When you talk about incentivizing the industry, you have to go back to the tax certificate. The FCC had a program in 1978 where if I sold my radio station to a company owned by a minority, I got a capital gains deferral on that sale. As a result of the tax certificate policy, in 1978, there were about 37 African-American owned radio stations, no African-American owned television stations. When the tax certificate policy was eliminated in 1995, there were 250 African-American owned radio stations and 25 African-American owned television stations. It made a huge difference.
I think that the broader issue is what we're talking about deregulation.
There are a whole lot of things that have come together that have changed the industry over the last 10 years that need to be looked at piece by piece. What needs to be done to get this industry back in sync with the public it's supposed to be serving?
NABOB President James Winston has definitely set the tone for our awards. And because of NABOB's ongoing advocacy, we're able to celebrate this afternoon's first NABOB member station milestone, one that is very near and dear to our heart. We may even be a little biased.
Yeah, having the opportunity to work at the Mecca of historical black colleges is truly an honor for Nina and I. To be able to broadcast to the citizens of the DMV is incredible.
Yeah, 50 years is such a milestone. We have seen so many families grow up. We've seen children being born, children graduate, births, deaths, all of that. And we are truly just proud to be a part of the People Station.
There it is right there. Let's take a look at their work.
Influence, authenticity, trusted. Howard University, the nation's premier historically black college and university, is the owner and operator of dynamic local and national radio, television, and digital brands. Content on WHUR features icons and dynamic brand influencers, including The Steve Harvey Morning Show, Middays with Autumn Joy Live, The Frank Ski Show with Nina Brown, The Daily Drum with Harold Fisher, The Original Quiet Storm, now hosted by John Mons. The award-winning WHUT reaches nearly 700,000 households across the DMV region with content focused on social justice, the arts, lifestyle, news and information that will engage, enlighten, and educate the viewing audience. Your stories, your station. Howard University Media, your conduit to the Black experience.
Congratulations again to WHUR 96.3, 50 years. Keep it up. Now it's time to say congratulations to our first 2021 NABOB Public Service Award honoree. Recipients in these awards are selected based on their public service and their support of diversity and inclusion. Previous honorees include Attorney General Eric Holder, and award-winning journalist April Ryan, civil rights activist, comedian Dick Gregory, just to name a few. To present our first Public Service Award of the afternoon, please welcome Alfred Liggins, CEO of Urban One.
Good evening. It's an honor to be with each of you this evening as we celebrate the 45th Annual National Association of Black-Owned Broadcasters National Service Awards. This evening, I have the privilege of presenting the prestigious National Service Award to Doug Ray, a visionary who's had a major impact on the media industry. For those of you who don't know Doug, I'd like to briefly provide you with a snapshot of the tremendous impact he has had in the media space. Doug presently works at Dentsu International, where he serves in dual roles as both Chief Product Officer, Americas, and Chief Product Officer, Global Media. In his global role, Doug is accountable for the vision and delivery of integrated media products across several of Dentsu's lines of business, including Cara, iProspect, and Dentsu X. In his Americas role, Doug works across the Dentsu Americas creative, media, and CXM divisions to incubate and innovate new product and service solutions. Over the years, Doug has been recognized for his incredible contributions in media, and he has been honored with several awards. He was named Media Executive of the Year by Adweek, Media Maven by Advertising Age, an internationalist, agency innovator, and a legend and leader, to name a few. Of all his accomplishments, what impresses me most about Doug is his undeniable and unwavering commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion of the African American community. There is a podcast that some of you might listen to called More Than That with Gia Peppers. What you might not know is this show is the brainchild of people like Doug Ray and other folks at Dentsu. With help from Doug, along with our sponsors, One Solution worked with Dentsu to bring More Than That to fruition as a nationally syndicated podcast. This podcast provides underrepresented businesses with an opportunity to distribute and produce quality content tailored for Black audiences so that the inequities that currently exist in the advertising supply chain can be addressed by providing an entertaining and informative platform for advertisers to engage consumers. So without further ado, it is an honor and privilege to introduce to you this evening, Doug Ray.
It's not often in one's career to have the ability to do something meaningful, to take an action that may have an impact for a lasting time on our industry. I believe that that's what we achieved with Project Booker. Born out of the racial reckoning last summer, this project really aimed to disrupt not just the media, but the wider advertising supply chain, from the story and storytellers to the distribution and distributors. It enabled a fundamental and immediate change in our clients' marketing investments, paving the way for incremental funding amongst diverse-owned broadcasters. In the last year, we created 12 original shows and more than 250 minutes of programming, all produced and distributed in partnership with NABOB and its members. We reached 1 in 3 Black listeners across more than 80 radio stations and moved half of those listeners to take action based on what they had heard. But it wasn't just a Black show. It had massive crossover appeal with similar impact among non-Black listeners as well. We clearly touched millions of people across the country at a moment when this country needed it the most. And we've just begun. We're already in the process to bring season 2 to your airwaves next February. And our ambition is for more clients to come on board next year, to expand beyond the original 9 episodes and to tell more stories of more Americans, all with the mission to champion meaningful progress. I would like to thank Jim Winston and the National Association of Black-Owned Broadcasters for this incredibly prestigious award, and to those who helped pioneer this transformative project, Alfred Liggins, Chesley Maddox Dorsey, Howard Robertson, Sherman Kazart, and the entire team from 1X Studios. Your sponsorship and collaboration are why I'm here today accepting this award. I'd of course like to thank our founding client sponsors, General Motors, Procter & Gamble, and the Kroger Company. You saw the importance of this idea and put your time, effort, and funding behind it. Without you, we simply wouldn't have a More Than That with Gia Peppers. And then to Gia Peppers, I mean, wow. You breathed life into this show. You touched our hearts and our minds with each interview that you did and your personal reflections that you shared after each show. We could not have asked for a better host to shoulder the responsibility of the powerful topics that we explored week after week. And finally, to the amazing Dentsu team. While there were dozens of people that volunteered to work on this project, there are a few that I'd like to thank. Carrie Doyle, Simi Bhargava, Dirk Herbert, Jennifer Hunger-Buehler, Diana Anderson, Diva Bronson, and last but certainly not least, Kai Exos, whose creative vision ensured authenticity and excellence in everything that we did and will continue to do going forward. Each of you inspire me every day. Thank you, NABOB. I am truly honored.
Congratulations to 2021 NABOB and Power of Urban Radio National Service Award honoree Doug Ray. Truly remarkable and transformative work. Next on our list of NABOB station milestones, join me in saying congratulations to Davis Broadcasting. The Davis Broadcasting family is celebrating 35 years of operations and service. Let's take a look at their work.
Good afternoon, President Biden. Correction, President-elect Biden for just 15 more days. How are you?
I'm doing well, Denise. How are you?
And I am doing great. And I have our whole Davis Broadcasting team in the studio with me.
Hey, King.
I just thank you for taking the time to talk to our Foxy 105 listeners today.
Now, this is important.
Yes, this is the day.
I'm not just trying to be nice. This is really, really, really important.
Davis Broadcasting Incorporated is a locally, minority, and family-owned business committed to serving the community while providing broadcast excellence for over 35 years. Gregory Davis, president and CEO of Davis Broadcasting, started the company in 1986 with radio stations in both Columbus, Georgia, and Augusta, Georgia. Since then, Davis Broadcasting excelled in other markets such as Charlotte, North Carolina, Macon, Georgia, and Atlanta, Georgia. Currently, Davis Broadcasting consists of 13 radio station frequencies in Georgia, including stations in Atlanta and Columbus. Davis Broadcasting is one of the oldest minority-owned radio station groups in the nation. Each year, DBI hosts targeted free events for the surrounding communities, such as the annual Family Day Music Festival, Jazz on the River concert, Take a Loved One to the Doctor Day, Tools for School Supply giveaway, and many more. Two of Mr. Davis's children, Janice Granville and Greg Davis Jr., serve as vice presidents of the company and manage the Columbus and Atlanta, Georgia offices respectively. Over the last 35 years, Mr. Davis and his wife, operations manager Cheryl Davis, have made it their mission to be a voice in their respective communities.
Congratulations to Davis Broadcasting on 35 years. You are doing some amazing work in your communities. Next to present the second NABOB National Service Award is Karen Slade, Vice President, General Manager, KJLH, and NABOB Board Member.
It is my honor today to present the 2021 NABOB Power of Urban Radio National Service Award to Ms. Alva Adams Mason. Ms. Mason is Group Manager of the Multicultural Business Alliance, Strategy, and Multicultural Dealer Relations for Toyota Motor North America. In this executive role, she is responsible for directing strategy for Toyota's multicultural partnerships, organizational support, and sponsorships relevant to Toyota Lexus multicultural business initiatives covering Black, Latinx, Asian, Pacific Islander, Native American, LGBTQ, and women external community outreach. Ms. Mason has held many executive roles with Toyota during her tenure, developing collaborative projects and relationships that engage the Toyota Lexus Minority Owner Dealership Association, including the National Association of Minority Automotive Dealers. Ms. Mason has advanced the company's community communication strategy and propelled specific diversity initiatives across Toyota's North American operations. Ms. Mason has brought tenacity to every project, encouraging diversity in team volunteerism and community engagement opportunities. Ms. Mason understands the importance of Black-owned and operated businesses and has shared her love for Black radio while advancing inclusive initiatives throughout her career, well before it was in vogue. Her commitment to Black consumers, Black communities, and Black media has been evident, and we have all benefited. It is our time now to show our appreciation and recognize Alva Adams Mason with the 2021 NABOB Power of Urban Radio National Service Award. Congratulations, Alva.
Thank you, Karen, Jim Winston, Sherman Kizart, and the rest of the NABOB family for this incredible recognition. It is truly an honor to accept this award personally and on behalf of Toyota Motor North America, our team members, dealers, suppliers, and strategic partners. To be in the company of so many remarkable previous recipients of this award, all of whom have had an enormous impact on the African American community through their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, is both humbling and gratifying. I have been a fan of urban radio my entire life. Growing up, I listened to WRBD in Fort Lauderdale, which was the primary communication outlet in my community. As a young adult attending college at Howard University in Washington, D.C., WHUR provided the sole source of my information and the music I listened to, especially Quiet Storm. And when I moved to Los Angeles, KJLH filled the same role for me. Wherever I was, urban radio was the thread that connected me to my community. When I started working for Toyota, I realized all of these radio stations came under the National Association of Black-owned Broadcasters. And I truly recognized the importance of these stations and how much their communities depend on them and their message historically and today. Although we now get our information from many outlets, radio still reaches 93% of Black Americans weekly, providing news we can trust, breaking down racial barriers, conveying the Black perspective, advocating for our communities, and telling our stories like only we can. That is why Toyota is a fervent supporter of NABOB and their mission to improve and increase opportunities for success for Black and minority owners in the broadcast industry. As Group Manager of Multicultural Business Alliance and Strategy for Toyota Motor North America, it has been and continues to be my passion and privilege to advocate for minorities and actively engage in initiatives that invest in communities of color, that support multicultural business endeavors, and that ensure our company is known as a place that supports opportunities for everyone. It isn't just about building cells and literal vehicles, but about building vehicles of change. A top 10 Diversity Inc. company, Toyota continues to support organizations like NABOB that strengthen communities, give minorities a voice, and ensure a truly mobile society where all people can move, explore, and grow to their full potential. This has never been more important than it is today, and I am grateful to be a part of the leadership of a company that promotes, cultivates, and prioritizes inclusion and diversity. Thank you, NABOB, for your tireless efforts to make sure the African American perspective continues to be heard. We appreciate the work you do, and we value the impact you have on the communities across the nation. It is our honor to support your endeavors, and this award, will serve as a constant reminder of the partnership we at Toyota are so grateful to have with NABOB. Thank you again.
Congratulations to 2021 NABOB and Power of Urban Radio National Service Award honoree Alva Adams Mason. NABOB and NABOB communities truly appreciate your work. Our next NABOB station milestone celebrates the broadcast owner of the oldest African-American owned radio station in the nation, Carter Broadcast Group. Congratulations on 73 years of service and operation. Let's take a look at their programming. Carter Broadcast Group was started by Skip Carter, who was a founder of NABOB. After his passing, his wife Millie Carter took over running the station and was also very active with NABOB. Millie has passed the station ownership and control to her grandson, Mike Carter. Mike has been running the station successfully for many years, and KPRS FM was #1 in the market for many years. Mike continues to serve as a member of the NABOB Board of Directors.
Wow. Carter Broadcast Group, 73 years is an incredible achievement. To present our final NABOB Award, welcome NABOB President James Winston, who will present the NABOB Mickey Leland Public Service Award.
Hello, I'm Jim Winston, President of the National Association of Black-Owned Broadcasters, known as NABOB. On behalf of NABOB, it is my distinct pleasure to present the NABOB Mickey Leland Public Service Award to Congressman G.K. Butterfield. Congressman Butterfield serves as the representative of the 1st Congressional District of North Carolina, a diverse district that includes Greenville, Rocky Mount, and Wilson. He is a member of the Congressional Black Caucus and served as its chair from 2014 to 2016. As a member of the CBC, Congressman Butterfield focuses on promoting anti-poverty programs, expanding economic development and job creation, protecting voting rights, advocating for the appointment of African Americans to judgeships and senior administration positions, and increasing diversity in leadership positions in corporate America. Congressman Butterfield's leadership in promoting diversity is of great importance to NABOB because he has been a leading advocate in Congress for increased ownership of broadcast stations by Black people and other people of color. In the last Congress and again in the current session, Congressman Butterfield introduced H.R. 4871, the Expanding Broadcast Opportunities Act of 2021. The bill will promote diversity of ownership in the broadcast industry by reestablishing the Minority Tax Certificate Program at the Federal Communications Commission. NABOB has been seeking restoration of the tax certificate program ever since it was eliminated by Congress. The tax certificate policy helped significantly increase minority broadcast station ownership from 1978 to 1995. We are very grateful to Congressman Butterfield for leading the effort for its restoration. And so, NABOB is proud to present the NABOB Mickey Leland Public Service Award to the Honorable G.K. Butterfield for your outstanding leadership and dedication in promoting broadcast station ownership for Black Americans and other minorities, and promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout the telecommunications industry.
Good evening. I'm U.S. Congressman G.K. Butterfield, and I am proud to serve the 1st Congressional District of North Carolina. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to the National Association of Black-Owned Broadcasters, NABOB, for selecting me for such a prestigious honor. I am truly privileged to receive this recognition from an organization that has worked tirelessly to enrich the Black broadcasting community. For years, NABOB has been the leading voice behind the inclusion, success, and enrichment of the African American community in broadcasting. Black broadcasters are trailblazers in their field, providing a platform for stories and voices that may otherwise go ignored. I have dedicated much of my congressional career towards ensuring diversity in broadcasting, telecommunications, and technology. Women make up less than 6% of broadcast television station owners, and people of color account for less than 3%. Similarly, women own just 7% of broadcast radio stations, and people of color own less than 3%. And so my bill, my legislation that I am so proud of, the Expanding Broadcasting Opportunities Act, encourages diversity of ownership in the broadcasting industry through tax incentives, an approach that has already been proven to yield results. Minority ownership is not only imperative for the accumulation of wealth in our community and a way for our stories to be told, but studies also show, without question, that minority ownership leads to diverse hiring, which furthers our ultimate goal of equity in the entire industry. Efforts like my bill, the Expanding Broadcasting Opportunities Act, are now more important than ever in tumultuous wake of the past 4 years and the murder of George Floyd that led to the country's long overdue awakening on systemic racism and injustice that exist, unfortunately, all across the country. Our voices need to be heard, and that happens to be by doing something about the diversity numbers, the terrible diversity numbers in the industry. And so I conclude by saying thank you. Thank all of you once again for this honor. I look forward to continuing the efforts of increasing minority ownership and diversity in the broadcasting industry. Thank you. May God bless each of you.
Thank you for your tireless work, Congressman G.K. Butterfield, and congratulations on your 2021 NABOB and Power of Urban Radio Mickey Leland Public Service Award.
We would like to also send a special congratulations to Kathy Hughes, Alfred Liggins, and their respective teams who recently celebrated 42 years at Radio 1.
It's been a powerful and impactful afternoon. There is so much groundbreaking work taking place in the industry, and there is still so much more to come.
So stay tuned for the NABOB Foundation session, Creating the Next Generation of Media Sales Operations Leaders. We're honored to have shared this experience with you. Good afternoon and goodbye.
And goodbye.